Well, certainly quite a very important moment, as you know, that it's few days away to the International Women's Day. This is globally recognized, really just taking into account issues facing women, you know, the challenges, whether you're looking at the economic disparities, but also the women in conflict. You know, you look at the African continent, you look at the Sahel, you look at the eastern parts of Congo. But of course, a main speaker is quite a very renowned jurist all the way from Botswana, and of course, quite very close with the ICC, the International Criminal Court. So, Justice Monageng, thank you so much indeed for your time, ma'am.
Yeah.
Lovely. First and foremost, I mean, let's talk about the significance of this day for women all over the world, especially when we talk about the Beijing Declaration, the plan to action to make sure that we galvanize support for women all over the world.
It has been a long journey. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we are very happy that the Beijing platforms and other platforms happened because they laid a foundation for where we are today. We've built on them, and I'm not saying that we are there yet. We still have a long way to go.
And obviously, just as you write here in UNISA, I mean, we think about those women in eastern parts of Congo where there's flagrant violation of human rights, the sexual assaults, you know, all sorts of atrocities. I would imagine that with such a day coming up, that's where the spotlight should be as well, because oftentimes they're left out from such platforms.
You're right. When we talk about international crimes, we are talking about crimes that shock the conscience of humankind or humanity. You can imagine when we talk about rape, it is not an ordinary rape where a man goes into a house and pounces on a woman. We are talking about amazing, painful actions where women and children and even men are raped with a barrel of a gun, for instance. The atrocities are amazing. And you'll remember that, and I'll talk about it later, what in a conflict situation, the community, the opposition community, if you like, is punished. And they are punished through women and children. And that is where we are. I have tried so many of these cases, and when I see pictures of Ituri, pictures of Darfur, it breaks my heart. And I can confirm without flinching that the woman and her child goes through the worst of atrocities.
And I suppose, Justice, whether you're looking at the situation in Sudan, the situation in Ukraine, anywhere where there is a conflict, what is always a pertinent question is, how do you bring to book the perpetrators? How do you make sure that they see an iota of justice with all the suffering that they've endured?
It is a very complicated matter. I'll talk about the ICC, where I was a judge. You will find that the prosecutor is investigating in a country where conflict is ongoing. That's number one. It is very, very difficult. But the courts have matured. The tribunals, the ad hoc tribunals like the Rwanda ones, they did the best they could. Now we are left literally with the International Criminal Court, which is the only permanent criminal court in the world. And we are seeing a lot of progress. Especially the new or the present prosecutor, because he was a defense attorney before he became a prosecutor. So he knows the best or the worst of both worlds. We have seen a lot of progress, even in the way they investigate, in the way they have come up with policies. And these are policies that should have been implemented or come up with a long time ago. But I'm not criticizing at all, because everything evolves. And again, as the ICC is a permanent court, it also works on the concept of complementarity. Complementarity simply means that where a state is unwilling or unable to prosecute, that is when the prosecutor of the ICC should come in. And the prosecutor also goes into the country and into countries, especially member states of the Rome Statute, the statute that establishes the International Criminal Court. So there's ongoing learning, if you like, capacity building, even in countries where he is not involved, in non-situational countries. So the civil society organizations are so good. Countries like South Africa, for instance, have implemented, if you like, the Rome Statute. So if anything were to happen here, God forbid, South Africa will be ready